Welcome to the Insight series on personal well-being. Our question for this week is the Wellness Big Ten. What about your nutrition? Number 13. What about your nutrition? Nutrition is a big issue in wellness. And the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, says healthy eating emphasizes fruits, vegetables, whole grains, dairy, and protein. Dairy recommendations include low-fat or fat-free milk, lactose-free milk, and fortified soy beverages. Other plant-based beverages do not have the same nutritional properties as animal's milk and soy beverages. Protein recommendations include seafood, lean meats, and poultry, eggs, legumes, beans, peas, and lentils, soy products, nuts, and seeds. CDC also says most people in the United States need to adjust their eating patterns to increase their intake of dietary fiber, calcium, vitamin D, and potassium, according to the Dietary Guidelines for Americans 2020 to 2025. At the same time, we need to consume less added sugar, saturated fats, and sodium. So this constitutes the primary advice of our major federal agency responsible for the health of the U.S. population. And it gives us at least a track to run on in terms of considering our own dietary patterns and our own nutritional intake. Now, here are some additional nutrition tips for good health from a variety of authoritative sources. First of all, do drink enough water. And the National Academy of Sciences in 2005 issued a report indicating that men should consume about 125 ounces of water a day and women about 91 ounces of water a day. The basic thing is you probably need to drink more water than you are because most of the surveys, the health surveys conducted by the National Center for Health Statistics, indicate that people do not drink enough water. So it probably makes sense for you to get a water bottle and carry it around and use it to increase your water consumption. Do avoid only your favorites. Your favorites tend to taste good and you enjoy them because of habit, but they basically are not a good long-term pattern. You need to think about how do you get variety and color into your nutrition and into your diet. When you do that, you tend to pick up on a lot of the trace elements that we oftentimes don't get unless we are varying the color of our vegetables and the variety of different vegetables we can consume, and the issues around how we vary and create variety in our diet rather than just have the few things that we might like a lot or be used to. Also, do eat only when you're hungry. That I think will increase and enhance your enjoyment of food, but also it helps you not overeat and then have problems related to weight gain. Do try and eat a predominantly plant-based diet. It is healthier for us to consume more plant-related foods and nutritional sources. Do eat slowly, enjoy it, and chew fully. Oftentimes we eat so fast that our body oftentimes does not catch up with us. We don't have that feeling of being full, what's called satiation. And if we don't have that, then we tend to eat too much. Do consider intermittent fasting when losing weight. That's a technique that's now used extensively in the weight management field to help people really control the amount of food that they're ingesting and taking in. You also can think about maybe two, solid meals a day rather than three. That's another form and another way of doing intermittent fasting. Do remember your nutritional needs will change over your lifespan. Your body reacts differently as you age, and your nutritional patterns are going to set you up for likely different kinds of symptoms and different kinds of medical challenges. So do remember that those nutritional needs do change over time and over our lifespan. Now, the do's, those are the do's. The don'ts are, don't forget that you are very unique. Your physiology, your biome, content of your intestinal digestive system. Those are all things that are very unique to you. The over-the-counter medications that you take, any prescription drugs that you take, the amount of fluids you ingest, the type of fluids. So lots of things around the uniqueness of your own response to food and response to dietary patterns. Don't make a habit of overeating. Don't be the person who eats too much or waits until their stomach begins to give them some pains because they have consumed so much. So don't be a pattern and don't develop a habit pattern of overeating. Also, don't eat more than you need. And we have to regulate our needs, particularly in an affluent nation like the US, where we have access to a lot of fast foods. We have a lot of marketing that's affecting our choices and the cues for eating. So don't eat more than you need, and use your weight as a primary kind of indicator of how full and how complete your nutritional intake and your diet is. Don't make big dietary or nutrition changes overnight. They're not likely to last. So, and it also puts your body through a lot of rigor and a lot of challenge. So don't make those big changes overnight. Make them slow. Slow is pro in the boating industry and field, as well as in the food industry. Go slow in terms of the changes. Don't ignore food sensitivities. We have a great deal of information about celiac disease and the issues around gluten and lactose and how our bodies react to different forms of proteins. So don't ignore those food sensitivity feedback that you get from your own body. Don't fail to get professional help when eating and or food becomes a problem. So that's an issue where you can choose either a dietitian that's trained in nutritional sciences, or a naturopath that also has that background around food as medicine and food as a pattern for natural healing and natural health. So these are the do's and don'ts that go along with the general advice that we get from the CDC. And in summary, diet is a big part of wellness. Be intentional in your eating and drinking, and become more aware of this important part of your life. You actually are what you eat. Now, for more information on this topic, put these terms in your web browser search engine: sound nutritional practices, good nutrition practices, tips for healthy eating. Next week, we'll address the question, Wellness Big Ten, what about your heart health? We encourage you to live well, live wise, live long.